Welcome to The Explainer. If you've ever thought that you need some kind of in to land a job at one of the big accounting firms, well, you're going to want to stick around. Today, we're diving into the exact playbook for scoring a Big Four interview, even if you don't know a single person on the inside.
So first, let's just get a sense of the scale we're talking about here. A single firm, just one, like Deloitte, can get a mind-boggling 1.5 million applications in just 1 year. That is a massive pool of people all fighting for the same spots.
And because there are so many applications, here's the tough part. A full 93% of people who apply are filtered out before they even get close to an interview. Think about that. Their resume never even gets seen by a real hiring manager.
So, the big question is, how do you make sure you're in that other 7%? Well, the secret isn't really about who you know. It's about understanding the system they use to hire people, and then using that system to your advantage. It's really a game of strategy, not just connections.
Okay, let's get into it. To beat the system, you've got to understand the system, right? So let's map out the exact path your application takes from the second you hit that submit button.
So every single Big Four firm, we're talking Deloitte, PwC, EY, and KPMG, they all use the same basic 5-stage pipeline. And your first mission, really, is just to get past these first 3 stages. Think of them as gatekeepers: the automated system, the coordinator, and then the recruiter. It's only after you get through them that you finally reach the hiring manager, the person who actually cares about your skills.
And that brings us to what is, without a doubt, the single biggest hurdle in this whole process: the applicant tracking system, or ATS. This piece of software, this automated gatekeeper, is where most people's dreams go to die, long before a human ever gets involved.
Just let this sink in for a second. Somewhere between 70 and 80% of all resumes that get sent in are just flat out rejected by this software. A machine is making the first cut. And that means you have to write your resume for the machine first and for a human second. It's a total paradigm shift.
So, what's this machine looking for? Well, it's scanning for really specific stuff. It's looking for keywords that it pulls right from the job description. It's looking for technical terms like IFRS 15 and for experience that you've put numbers to. It's basically just a big pattern matching machine. So your job is to give it the exact pattern it's programmed to find.
And here is a perfect example of what I mean. A normal resume might say something kind of vague, like responsible for revenue analysis. Okay, but to get past that ATS robot, you have to be super specific. The after version here gets right to it. Analyzed revenue recognition under IFRS 15 for 9 SME clients. See the difference? It's specific, it is jam-packed with technical keywords, and it's quantified with a number. That's the key.
All right, let's move on to the next big idea. Once you've got your resume optimized, you gotta get it in front of the right eyeballs. But here's the thing, you don't need a formal referral. What you need is to make your skills visible. So instead of just saying you have a skill, you create tangible proof of your work. Seriously. You could build a sample audit file, or maybe you create a financial model doing a DCF valuation of a public company. Then you can link to these projects from your resume or your LinkedIn. This is the kind of concrete evidence that hiring managers absolutely love, way more than just a generic bullet point.
And this is where a really smart, thoughtful outreach strategy comes into play. See, your goal isn't to message someone and beg for a job. Not at all. It's just to get on their radar, to gain visibility, so that when your application does land on a recruiter's desk, they go, "Oh, yeah, I've heard that name before." Here's a fantastic template. You could send a message just like this on LinkedIn to somebody who's already in the job you want. Notice you're not asking for a referral, right? It's short, it's super respectful, and you're asking for advice, which, let's be honest, people are usually pretty happy to give. And guess what? This strategy works. You can actually expect a pretty good reply rate, somewhere around 30 to 40%. But here's the really cool part. Even just a simple conversation with an employee can trigger the company's internal system to automatically boost your application's visibility. It literally flags you as someone to pay attention to.
Okay, so you've done everything right. Your resume sailed past the ATS, your outreach got you noticed, and boom, there's an email in your inbox. A recruiter wants to chat. This is the next gate, and you have to be ready to walk through it.
Now, recruiters at these firms, they're trained to be efficient. They're screeners. So they're almost always going to start with a few of these basic questions just to make sure you tick the right boxes before they waste a hiring manager's time.
So when they ask you to walk me through your background, that is not an invitation to tell your life story. Nope, it needs to be a short, powerful pitch, a story that connects your education directly to a specific technical skill and, you guessed it, backed up by one of those quantified proof of work examples we just talked about.
And hey, if you need one last piece of proof that this whole no connections thing actually works, here it is. Just look at the data. Over half, more than 50% of all the people who get hired at the Big Four come from general applications. These are people just applying directly on the website. That's a way bigger slice of the pie than internal referrals. The system is built for this.
At the end of the day, that's the goal, right? By optimizing your resume for the ATS, creating real, tangible proof of your work, and then using smart outreach to get seen, you are systematically lifting yourself out of that giant rejected pile and into that elite top 5% of applicants who actually get the call.
So this playbook, it'll get you the opportunity. It'll put you in that top group of candidates, for sure. So the only real question left is, when that phone finally rings, are you going to be ready? This plan gets you the call. The rest is on you.